What is going on, students? It's Devlin Cassidy, aka The Scholar, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Gandeeva deck profile. I know I posted about it on Twitter, and it changed a little bit since the post, but I wanted to get it to you guys because I think I have perfected this list in particular. But before we get on into it, make sure you go shop with my team sponsor, Kingslayer Cards. Use a promo code SCHOLAR, save 5% off of your entire purchase. And we have a new partnership going along. If you guys want to get beautiful deck boxes like these, beautiful bags like these, and beautiful play mats that are going to be in this video, make sure you go shop with Dank Ritual. Their link is down in the description down below, as well as they keep me on top with the freshest and most beautiful TCG accessories that I have used. But let's get on into the profile. So for the starters, we are playing just the regular Gandeeva ride line. There's nothing like really too special about this. The Bav one, like in between like talking with my teammates and other things, it's just not good. It makes the deck space a little tighter, even though you do thin by that one card to shield to get like the free ride up. This already gives you the free ride up, and if your opponent doesn't commit early, so like the only card where this doesn't really actually fire off against is the Jet matchup if they actually high roll. And this card just giving you the free skill for a Gandeeva on the grade 3 turn is crazy. So yeah, I think that this is still the better ride line in comparison to the Bob Salguero one. So this is why we are still on the original Gandeeva ride line. Going into the grade 3s, like I saw on the Twitter post, you're only playing 2 extra of the Gandeeva. So you already have the free power from the Gandeeva resting effect of just getting a bunch of power while it's in the bind zone. So like Persona Ride isn't as necessary, even though like it makes your like Persona Ride turns are more deadly because of that additional power increase. But you free up space now to actually get the edge in the mirrors where like you can pace, you can kind of like rush really hard to where you can kind of push the Gandeeva player to not have like an optimal hand. And that's very true also like in the Jet matchup and other things. So I just much rather have a deck built to be more equipped to fight the current metagame with Gandeeva, Willista, and Jet being the best decks of the format. And just all of them kind of died at early rush. So building my deck for early rush helps me have the edge in the mirror and against Jet and Willista. So that is why we only play the 2. Then we play 4 copies of the Stirgon. This is the only card in the deck that actually has your bind zone go up by +2. And it's really crazy. So this card lets you draw a card, it will bind you a card face down, but it also binds a rear guard. So the fact it just helps you accelerate your bind zone is really huge. Mirror matches come down to who see more of these, because this really is the thing that really helps you hit the magic number 5 on your first grade 3 turn. And it's really cool that it's not locked behind a counterblast. So it helps your deck be a little more consistent in that regard. And wrapping up with the grade 3s, you already know what's coming up. 3 of the Best Harvest, aka Bless Harvest. This card helps you retain a hand you can plus if you hit like off the Gandeeva high roll. Like if you hit like a 2 and a 1, this actually like helps you plus a little bit. So this card is very strong, and it helps you keep your card advantage. So this is why this card's really important. I don't think it's a 4 of necessarily though, just because you don't want a bunch of like non-shield in your deck. That was another one of the big things too, is I just want to consistently shield because Jet and Gandeeva hit such high numbers. So this card is just, while very important, I just didn't want to run the 4th to have another brick and then be tempted to discard it and then not see another one. So I just know that 3 is a very solid number to see at least like twice in a game. Moving on into the grade 2s, we have 4 copies of our Aquafar. This card is crazy. This is our multi-attacker for the deck. So it's on swing. When your Gandeeva attacks a grade 3 Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, put him in the bind zone face down, and you look at the top 5 and call 1 to the front row. And this card is like really strong just because it's able to extend you an additional attack. It sets up your bind zone. But I want to actually just kind of like touch on this like a little bit more. In certain game states, you may want to just only like use 1 like every turn if you know you're going to go into a grind game, because consistently putting up 4 attacks is better than having like a 5 attack turn and then a 3. So most of the time I actually don't like commit like 2 of these to the board unless I know I'm going to kill my opponent that turn with the 5th attack. Just because again, like especially in the mirror matches, it kind of comes down to a grind of like who has more of these. And so if you had just have more of these in general and just are able to just consistently generate 4 attacks, you'll win the grind game. And just retaining these and not trying to be too greedy with the Aquafar is like really important. So this is why like the 4, you want to see it, but you don't want to be committing these a bunch every turn. And then we have 3 copies of the, I can't I'm going to butcher this guy's name, so I'm just going to say the Gandeeva grade 2. This lets you get selective retire. This can help you clear out boards more in the case that like Gandeeva doesn't do it all the way. So this is just a CB. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and then if you don't retire, in the case of like against Ava, you'll just bind a card face down from your drop zone and draw a card. So this card is just a staple. You just want to play this. This is Gandeeva support. Then for non-Gandeeva related grade 2s, we were playing 3 copies of Brachiophores. This card is really huge in like 2 matchups. This card's huge in Jet because you can drop this down after they try to like high roll grade 1 rush you to start your pressure of on hit, like you want to control the field. So this can start ripping cards out of their hand early, but what you can do is also you can like pressure the rear guard. So because it just says when your attack hits in general. So you're able to like swing at the rear guard. If it hits the rear guard, you're able to pop it, retire the other rear guard, and then draw a card, which is huge. Like you just want to like consistently be doing that. So this card's like really good to draw early. This is why it's at 3 now. I figured that out in like more testing. Is like you just want to continually like pressure the rear guards or pressure the Vanguard in the sense that like you want to start controlling the board a little bit more. And plus it gives you a card. And so like in the mirror match, like if this hits, it kills itself. So that's now another non-retirable target because now it's in the drop zone. So they in the mirror you can't draw off the best harvest because this isn't a target for best harvest on the board. And then last but not least, we're playing 2 of the grade 2 cycler. This card just helps you keep up with card advantage with Jet, since like if you discard for the grade 1, like going into grade 1 or going into Gandeeva, that's sort of the only points where you really have to discard if your ride line is working appropriately. So this is why it's good. Also, like if you persona ride, you're able to retire a column, which like comes up in some cases, which if you activated the best harvest, and it's like you draw 2. So it's good, but it's just like really niche and situational. So that's why we don't play as many of it. Going into the grade 1s, we're playing 3 copies of the Dragon Empire PG and 1 of the Elementaria Sanctitude. This is just still in here for Jet. Jet's oppressive. This card also gets around like weird guard restricts in other decks, so this card's just very important to have. In general though, with these, like just PGs like win games, decks like get really big power, so just having a complete guard against them is just too valuable not to have. For other grade 1s, we're playing 3 copies of the Buchan. Buchan is your countercharger, and it accelerates the bind zone again, just so that way you're able to countercharge, you're able to keep paying for skills, and this just popping back into the bind zone is huge. So this card is huge. Just again in the mirror, like it's a grade 1 that doesn't stay on board, and so then they have like their window to hit for targets is a lot smaller. So this is why, again, this card's like phenomenal in the mirror. This card is just always going to be advantage every time it hits the board, because more of the times than not, you're not going to leave it around as a booster. So that's why this card is very, very important. And then last but not least, 2 copies of the Broma, I think you're or Bernia. This card's actually crazy in the mirror. Again, like this deck's kind of like designed to beat the mirror, but like I think that's where the edge is at. So when this, after it's done boosting, you can, if your opponent's had a rear guard that was retired this turn, you can bind this card face down, and you draw a card, which helps you keep up your card advantage again. So like you commit, bind, so it's like a pseudo +2 because it accelerates your bind zone and you get to draw a card while also plussing the board. But you just neg from it. So that's how I see it, as a +2, but like in theory it's a +1. But this card's still very good, and I think that this gives you the edge in the mirror, but it's perfectly fine if you want to cut this actually for like another Buchan and just play like a 4-1 split. I just like having the draw advantage in other matchups, so that's why I just play the 3-2. On to triggers. We're playing 4 of the Into Soul crit, 3 of the regular crit. Crits win games. You could honestly play a 4th one, 4th of the vanilla crit, 8 in total. If you just cut these fronts, which are just again huge. It's huge in the mirror, huge against the Jet. I'll tell you guys, like, these are the best decks, hands down. So you just really want to see these. Like 20k shields are like nothing to joke at. So but although if you did want to be a little more aggressive, then you could definitely cut one of these and put it here for sure. And then I have currently right now, in terms of heals, just 4 vanilla heals, but I could definitely see myself in the future picking up one of the Draco Kid, the crit effect heal, just because Gandeeva and Ava are some of the best decks right now. So having a natural way to out in the mirror or out in the Ava matchup, since that's one of your harder matchups too, is just playing some of the effect crits that or the effect heals that stop the additional crits from non-trigger abilities, which is just absolutely key. But in general, this hasn't really failed me because the 15k shield is just very solid. And then over trigger, we play the Dragon Empire one still. Festival really didn't change anything for us in terms of like wanting to play the blue OT or this, just because like restanding your Vanguard that has a crit is crazy. So it's like you actually kind of become like Overlord in the sense. So like that's why this is just very strong, because you can be in like the late game in the grind and then like this just like randomly kills your opponent. Not so much just like for the 100 million power, but the fact that like Gandeeva restood is like a major red flag, because Gandeeva already generates enough pressure with the additional crit, and this just helps it like generate even more. But that is going to do it for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this profile. I'm looking forward to possibly taking this to the next Kingslayer Cards event, which will be down in Lakeland, Florida this time, down at Dex and Dice. The event info is up here on the screen. Our first day is a standard event, 1K, and the second day is a no OT premium event, which is absolutely perfect. If you aren't able to come down though, please again go shop with Kingslayer Cards, use the promo code SCHOLAR, save 5% off of your purchase. And if you want beautiful playlants like these or any other accessories, go check out Dank Ritual. We are so close to 600. I think we're at like 599 at the time of recording this. So I hope you guys please like and subscribe. I'm like been grinding a bunch of content, and just the reward for just seeing you guys enjoying it has been great. So if you guys like this, please support me. It's helping me get closer to my goals. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. I love you all, and take care.